I don't know, Arash. Plus 212 on one, and another one paying 3.25 for Edmonton at home tonight to Montreal. Talk about no respect.
It's value.
At home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's value. It's value. It's absolute value. Here's the game that I'm most intrigued about, fellas. Because Barney, you know where I stand on the Stampeders. Like at the start of the season, if you told me they'd go 2-16, I'd say, yeah, I believe that. So now they're 2-0, and Ottawa's coming to town, and Drew Brown is out again, and I think Drew Brown's now out for a little while. Like I'm getting the sense it's going to be another couple of weeks with Drew Brown. So now they're going not with Matthew Schultz, their backup, but Dustin Crum. Okay, so there's that. Now we're adding 10 degrees Celsius, not quite hurricane force winds, but close, and rain. And I know this sounds like really getting into the weeds, but this is what we do when we sprinkle. We got a backup long snapper for Calgary, a backup long snapper for Ottawa. We have a global punter for Calgary. So we basically have a monsoon, a third string quarterback, a bunch of backup long snappers. What could possibly go wrong? I had a spy at Ottawa's practice the other day, and they told me they're lining up 5 receiver sets for most of practice. They're not even running the football. I'm like, okay. I'll bet the farm on the under, I guess.
I think the way you look at it is what's going to go right, not what's going to go wrong. What's going to go right in that game? Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I think that weather system. I do read weather, so obviously I'm an expert.
Yes.
That weather. That
meteorologist extraordinaire.
For the record on that, I read what's put in front of me. That's
Storm Center 620, more at 11.
Yeah.
He sticks his head out the window until he gets the weather.
That weather that's moving here, staying in, that must be because Calgary, I didn't even notice that, Arash, until you brought it up. Calgary on Saturday, 9 degrees, wind 31 gusting. Yeah,
sure.
It could snow. It could snow. In Calgary, it snows every month. It could.
And Sharky, Reggie Begelton goes on the 6th game with a broken leg or whatever it was, and you're just like, okay, cool. So how did Calgary get better from last place? They upgraded their receiving core and their quarterback's better. Well, then suddenly you're just removing probably their best receiver, and you're like, okay, all right. Where do points come from other than chaos? But this is why I bring up backup long snappers. With punts and field goals and all that kind of stuff, do you airmail snaps? Does the wind take those footballs on a life of their own? This is the stuff that goes on that just gets wonky.
Well, when I talked to Dave last hour, I said, Brett Lauther, there's some wind and could be some rain in Toronto, and you got the turf. You're playing on grass. On actual grass. Okay. So
okay. Barney, this is my one time a year where I need to defend my guy from Truro, Nova Scotia. Okay, Brett Lauther's the man. Brett Lauther's the guy. Brett Lauther's always the guy. Brett Lauther, as long as, and they last had the Grey Cup in Hamilton in 23? So as long as the riders they're not going to cross over anytime soon. Brett struggles at the old Ivor Wynn, whatever you want to call it now, Hamilton Stadium. But outside of that, the guy's money. Leave Brett alone. It's not his fault he's got a new holder. He can't kick in one stadium. He's the guy. He'll always be the guy when, as our friend John Gibbons would say, when it's nut cutting time, the kid from Truro, Nova Scotia is going to deliver. So that's
really
the one time a year I'm going to stand up for my Truro, Nova Scotia brethren, for my guy, for my kicker,
Let the record show all I said was the weather and field conditions. I didn't say anything about
Sharky. Look, in Truro, we're used to the tidal bore coming in. We're used to certain conditions. We're just not used to the wind.
How can you not be used to the wind in Truro? Doesn't a wind blow there like every day, like constantly?
Well.
Yeah, Regina.
I'm just defending my guy. That's all I'm saying.
I know you are. And you know what? It's very honorable of you to defend somebody else from the Stanfield Underwear Factory. That's nice. I like it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, we'll come back to CFL in a second here. I want to get onto the NBA front because I'm trying to get Sharky to watch this game tonight because, hey, they've been good. Like you can pick it up at halftime and you're very entertained. Indiana's not out of a game. They've somehow just get it done. But Oklahoma City can win it all tonight. The Thunder can become NBA champs on the week that Florida, does it in the NHL. And we have a Canadian. The Canadian is the guy in this game.
I've been trying to kind of think of how to describe this. And I think this is the best way to do it. The second biggest sport in the world from a participation standpoint is basketball. Okay, like soccer, they play all over the place. They wrap up a bunch of socks on dirt fields in the middle of nowhere and they play. And outside of that, basketball is number 2. And the best player in the world in the second biggest participation sport on earth is a Canadian. A guy who's putting up 30 a night, a guy who's the MVP. And I know not everybody knows who Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, but if he played in New York, there would be gargantuan billboards all over Times Square of Shai. If he was in LA, he'd be a Hollywood star. If he was in Miami, you would know him. But he's there in Oklahoma City. It's a bit of an outpost. He has everything. Forget the body control. Forget the ability to penetrate. Forget the fact that he's the face of the franchise and the rest. He's the dude. He's the man, and he's about to become a world champion. And honestly, guys, this is my hot take on this. When Shai and the Thunder do it tonight, it caps the most impressive season by a Canadian athlete in any pro sport ever.
Whoa, that's big words. I mean, I get the NBA, but any sport ever?
Gretzky, Crosby, Sinclair.
I get 50 and 39. I get 50 and 39. I get it. But to me, it's the depth of field. Right? Before Shai, the back-to-back MVP was a guy from Serbia. In basketball. Mm-hmm. A guy from Cameroon recently has been the MVP. A guy from Greece recently has been the MVP. And we're not even talking about the United States. Shai just goes about it quietly. He goes about his business. And they're doing it at Oklahoma City. I don't
think it matters where he's
magical.
doing it. I don't think it matters where he's doing it. I actually think there's a benefit to him being in Oklahoma City, being a Canadian kid, taking away some of that sparkle and glory that you would get from the other centers you mentioned, right? That's a little more down
No. No, this is why you're wrong, Sharky. This is it. This is what I mean by Oklahoma City, is that it is not an attractive free agent destination. They're not building a super team. They don't have megastars there. It is Shai, now Jalen Williams, who they drafted. But their biggest free agent signing is Alex Caruso, who looks like he could be your blackjack dealer at Casino Regina. Headband and all. Shai is the best.
Hey, hold on. You're saying that blackjack dealers at the Casino Regina wear headbands?
No, they should. Okay. They should. Right. You can sell a little sponsorship, get an Adidas logo.
I like it.
What I'm saying is, in the sport that's played globally, the best player in the world is a Canadian, and he's doing it without much of a supporting cast.
That I can buy.
That's why.
Okay.
Holmgren. What's his first name? Chet?
Who's Chet Holmgren?
So that and this is why my argument stands up. because you're like, okay, who's Robin to Batman? What's his first name again?
Hey, honest fellow here. I'm not gonna lie.
No, like
I've been watching every game.
What's Marchand's first name? What's the Conn Smythe Trophy's winner first name? What's Bobrovsky's first name?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But this homegrown guy, you should watch tonight. He is a tall, lanky string bean, and every time he falls down, I think he's
over.
He's broken.
It's over.
He is broken. Like, he's not very big, not very meaty, but he's like 7 foot.
But Barney, I'll give you credit. His name is Chet. Well done.
Yes.
Well done. I'm proud of you. Yes.
Nice work,
yes.
Barnes.
Big basketball guy. It's our basketball report here on the cage. Okay, this just came down, and I'm going to retweet it from the Sports Cage Twitter here. You being an old Minnesota Vikings fan, have you seen this fight? It just dropped. That's what I was watching.
No.
I was like, I got to watch this. I'm gonna tweet it out right now. People can go. Adrian Peterson, former running back.
Oh no!
In an absolute fist to cuff, knuckles chucked in a poker room, and they square off. And actually, I'll give him credit. He's got a solid jaw. He has
Took a pretty good one.
If he doesn't trip, if the turf monster doesn't get him there, he's okay. You're gonna have to watch this.
Was anybody in the poker room wearing a headband?
Not that we can see from here, but that doesn't mean we covered everybody.
But there's obviously sunglasses guy.
Yeah.
And sweatpants guy.
I remember asking an old GM once about off-field transgressions and just talking about the lunacy of it all. And his response to me was, occupation, football player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got to go watch this video, too.
Thought process, minimal.
Okay, we'll go back. Let's go back to CFL here quickly. Finish a sentence. If the Riders beat the Argos this week, then
Chad Kelly starts next week, even though he's not ready. I just think they're at that point, right? Like, you're going to start 0-3. You're missing 5 starters this week. Look, you've won 2 out of 3 championships. You have a little bit of, leash here, but I just think there's going to be a little too much urgency needlessly. So I think that's my fill in the blank answer to that.
Are a lot of people in and around Toronto and fans of the Argos, all of them that are carpooling, are they saying, well, this is why Nick Arbuckle was a free agent first chunk of last season?
Yeah, I don't know about Argo fans. I just think people who follow the CFL are saying, okay. Like, I think it went 100 or something days last year that Arbuckle didn't have a job. And look, what Nick Arbuckle did in the Grey Cup last year was amazing. Let's just be real with that. But the name of the game as a starter, as a franchise quarterback, is so much more and so much different than a one-game opportunity when you have 18 games of film on a defense that's only going to drop 3 and be stubborn about it. Can Nick Arbuckle win you a game or two? Sure. Is Nick Arbuckle going to be your guy for 18 games? No chance. And I just think now we're starting to see why, going into training camp, Brian Dinwiddie said it's actually a battle for the backup job between Cameron Dukes and Nick Arbuckle. So, look, I don't think Nick Arbuckle's had a real chance to show what he can be because the Argos' offensive line has been so bad. I think the Kadeem Carey release was a mistake going with Arbuckle. Like, if Chad was the guy, sure. But to have a vet running back there. So I think you kind of add all those things up and you see why they are where they are.
You say Kelly's not ready yet and they're going to push him in. How far away do you think he is from being ready?
Yeah, it's a good question, Sharky. Like, I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know. But also, it's one of those things where I was having a conversation with somebody watching. There was a Jays Day game today, and we were talking about oblique injuries. And oblique injuries, Teoscar Hernandez had one a couple of years ago, and Danny Jansen had one a couple of years ago. for like a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, you have to wait for it to heal so it won't get worse. Then it's like, what can you play through? And where are you to just make sure that you can perform at a decent enough level? I think if it were up to the Argos, they'd wait as long as possible for Chad to be healthy so he can perform at his best. I think now is the point where you're just like, okay, let's just make sure he's not going to make it worse, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you're saying, right? He's like 85%, and we can tape it up, and we can, put the Band-Aids on it.
65 or 65.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
That's risky
That's
if
the
it's
problem,
that low.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So when you're 2-1, you say we're going to put the player's
wait.
best interest in mind. We want to make sure we're being responsible, blah, blah, blah. When you're 0-3 or 0-4,
I'm not looking at their schedule, but how far away are they from their bye?
I don't know. I don't know, but here's the other part of all this. The Argos could be 0-6 and still win the Grey Cup.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Winnipeg
true.
got there being 0-4.
The East is
Right.
Yeah.
What's more surprising, that the West teams are 4-0 against the East this season, or teams leading after the third quarter are 8-0?
You would think it's the second part of that, but here's the thing, guys. Already 3 quarterbacks in the league are down.
Yeah.
We're in week 3. Nathan Rourke's down. Drew Brown's down. Chad Kelly's down. I think what we're seeing here is that, and we talk about the long snappers, 3 long snappers are down. It's attrition, and we're not even close to Canada Day yet. So it's one of those weird things. We talk all off season, right, about the starting quarterback. Great. I keep reminding everybody who your number 2 and number 3 is more important. Like the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Oh, we talk about
Think
that.
about this.
2 quarterback
Think about
league.
this. The Ottawa Red Blacks in week 3 are starting their 3rd different starting quarterback.
That's a tough spot to be in. That's a very tough spot to be in.
Okay, I'm gonna let's leave with this, because we've got to go to break here. But how about the over/under at 50.5 for that Red Black Stamps game? That could be a 6-3 football game.
Did you say 50.5?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go because I gotta go to check something on my phone.
All right. See you, buddy. What's
Thanks,
up?
Arash. Oh,
see you,
here's the
boys.
video.
Here's the fight. Here's the
here
fight,
it is.
Arash. Here it is.
Okay,
So
Adrian.
they're
Adrian
gonna
pushing with his left.
try
There's no
and break it
broadcast
up.
restrictions on this.
Finally, this guy's like, just let him go, and it's like, okay, here we go. They square off here. They get a couple in, and then it's like, watch this when he takes in the jaw right here. Come on now. Boom. Ooh. So yeah, if you're not watching the video,
another
we're
one.
kind of do play-by-play.
Who's the idiot trying to get into fisticuffs with Adrian Peterson? How
Well, I don't
stupid
know.
do you have to be?
Well,
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson is a football player. It wasn't like it's not like he's out there fighting Dave Semenko. So
Right.
try your luck. Hey, go place that bet, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, boys. Yeah.